The representative from Georgia, Mr. Allen, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 14 beautiful grandchildren, and boy, they're different. You know, God created every child with unique characteristics, and guess what? They deserve the best school for every child. And it might not be the best school for another. Now, let's be clear. We don't want to lose one child in this country. All of us are sick of that, and it's creating real problems. But at the same time, how do we change the direction? We know we're going in the wrong direction. I mean, 70% of the country said this country is going in the wrong direction. A lot of it starts right there in education. I bring you good news to fill the need for young students who are struggling in public schools. We established Heritage Academy, and we give low-income single moms a choice for their child's education. These children are receiving a faith-based education, and every child has thrived. These children, these moms send these children to Heritage Academy because basically they're told they're losers in the public school system. They are growing both academically and spiritually, and most, I think all of them, are awarded a full scholarship to any private school they want to go to in my district. That's the good news. So, and again, in my state, school choice is an 80% issue. Ms. Clark, one common argument we hear about school choice and ESAs in particular is that they defund traditional public schools or otherwise degrade the quality of public education. Have you seen that in Arizona?
Absolutely not. In fact, not a single public school has closed in Arizona in the over 12 plus years that we've had the ESA program in our state.
Okay. Well, I got to speak up for my daughters. I have one daughter that's sending her children to a faith-based private school where she attended. We sent our children because we wanted them to get a faith-based education. But I have another daughter who is sending hers to public school, and she has gotten in there and gotten involved in that public school. And, you know, the parents have, and it's beginning to thrive. Now, it took a lot to do that, and I applaud. My wife did the same thing when our children were in high school. Dr. McShane, I have reviewed the data you presented in your testimony. I'm impressed by how overwhelming the research base favoring school choice, which again, in Georgia's an 80% positive issue. What would help make the public more aware of the results you've offered us here today?
Well, research is boring. I noticed when I saw in the lineup that I was going to have to open for Jenny and Walter. I felt like a band that has to open for two significantly better bands, and you're just going to kind of get the doors blown off you there. But it does highlight an important point that ultimately the research that I do, the research that others do, the data points that we collect are real human beings that are trying to do right by their children or children themselves. And so I think doing as much as we can to tell the stories underneath those data, because research ultimately, look, we do averages, right? We take all the voucher kids on this side and all the non-voucher kids on this side. We look at what they are at the average, but we know under averages are big bell curves, right? There are some people that are doing better, there are some that are doing worse. So trying to tell those actual stories and learning from them is important.
Right, I understand. Mr. Banks, thank you for coming and testifying today. Your story is, Ben Carson's a good friend of mine. He had a similar story. And like I said, we want every child to have the same opportunity you had. Thanks for being here, and thank you for speaking out for every young person in America, because it's important.
Thank you for that. And I just want to be very clear that I'm not the only one. There are thousands of students across the country who have benefited from similar programs, are thriving and are doing great work. There is an army coming up behind me. I could introduce you to hundreds of families And to quote Coach Prime, I ain't too hard to find. I'm going to continue this work because I believe in it, and I've benefited from it, and I've seen the results, and I believe that every child should have the same experience that I did.
Well, that's what has made America the great country it is today. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. And I yield back.